What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with Learn, Plan, Profit. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day. Let me go ahead and change this to the live chat. It's 6:34 a.m. This Monday morning, and yeah, I hope you guys are all having a beautiful Monday. Let's go ahead and get this started. I have an active position as of right now on WTI. As of right now, let's take a look. I'm up $75 in total, right? So I was up $150. I hit highs of 720. I was up a little bit more than that. So let's go ahead and see it. It looks like it's consolidating again at the resistance at around 712. It's been really struggling to break above that. So I'm going to go ahead and do something. Let's see if we can actually get a nice little push up. I have one thing I can do is I can put my sell order, click limit, entire. Oh, no, that's not what we wanted. Let's see. So since the resistance is right around 713, I'm gonna see if I can get out at 712 just to exit that, and then end up picking up something else. But is there anything that you guys are watching right now that's actively trending up intraday that we did not talk about yesterday, or that you think is something that we want to bring to our group's attention? There it goes. Wow. Let's see. And this is why I should have sold, because of this dip buy potential. It's going based off of the patterns that it was going off of on what's it called, Friday, with that support right around $7. It did hit lows of 795, which is completely within the means, right? And then with the resistance right around 720 to really around 730 was really where it was struggling to break above. So as of right now, not showing any signs of an uptrend. It's still showing signs of a sell-off. And I'm in the East Coast, and it's 9:36 a.m. That's super sweet. Yeah, when I was in the East Coast visiting, I really enjoyed being able to wake up at 9:30 and stuff like that. It made for a good. It was really cool. Yeah, I'm looking at you guys. What's going on, Mark? Continue watching CPE today, not taking any positions yet. I like that. Okay, GoPro, LABD. Okay, SCRICATM. 6:30. Sucks. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm not getting anything from this as of right now, so I'm just gonna set my alert. Let's start checking these out. Yikes. Okay, so GoPro, let's check it out on why this might be something that we might want to pay attention to. Let's look at the overall direction. That's something that I find very important. Okay, so it's showing a very strong descending pattern, but recently it's been holding above this SMA indicator. WTI just broke support. Wow. Where's it at? Wow, that thing's selling off. We'll have to follow up with that in just a bit. But yeah, as we can see, as right now, GoPro, I wouldn't view this or identify this as a good deal. How much more margin, like just being realistic with yourself, like how much more margin does GoPro have to cover, right? Can it continue to uptrend and stuff like that? And as of right now, yes, it is close to the EMA indicator, so it does have the potential to push up and stuff like that. But even then, it's not even that much margin that it has, the opportunity to cover. And with that understanding, it's just like, trying to identify like when it's a good buy. With this ascending uptrend pattern, I would say closer to the SMA indicator on the 20-day 1-minute chart. 5-day 5-minute chart, no. And then on the 1-day 1-minute chart on intraday, it's not showing any decent signs of a pattern. So I find the most relevant pattern to be this. Trying to identify when it's a good deal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set an alert to see if it goes below 630 and then follow up with it then. I don't find it to be a good deal altogether. It looks a little bit overextended on the big picture, and that's just something that we'll have to follow up with. So, all right, let's check this out. Wait, yeah, that ticker isn't coming out. So, all right, CPE. CPE with an overall support at $10, just like we covered yesterday. Overall resistance, that's a more conservative resistance, would be right around $12. And as you can see, it's showing signs of an uptrend, right? Decent margin of profit that it has left to cover. That was frustrating. 13% potential profit, getting closer to that support right around, yeah, around 1060. Let's check this out on the 20-day chart. We can see now that it's definitely trying to break above the estimate indicator, which has been struggling to hold above. Okay, more common resistance at around, okay, so on an 80-day chart, we have an alert set. Okay, so it definitely makes, just based on previous patterns, it has somewhat of a resistance right around this higher price point of, like, the 10. You could see here that it normally gets rejected and then it sells off again. So that is something that we can expect. As you guys can see, it's pushed up here before, then it sells off. It's pushed up here before, then it sells off, and it's pushed up here before, and it would make sense on why it can't sell off. So I think that's why it's so important to wait for a better entry. And although we are seeing that, okay, it is showing signs of a uptrend pattern, what we can do is, okay, if it breaks above $11, that's something that it hasn't done before, and that could be somewhat of a confirmation. Now, if we see it pull back again, I have my alert set right here. If it breaks below the EMA indicator, to see where we can buy it on the dip, to be able to sell it again as it pushes right back up. So I think that's a pretty decent plan for CPE. Thank you again for the reminder, and it's just something that we're gonna have to follow up with. UPS. Delso, is it your birthday? Happy birthday. That's so cool. Thank you again for tuning in on your birthday. Okay, so USLV just dropped below. This is why it's so important. So if you guys saw in our Sunday stock talk, one thing that we're talking about was that just one green day above the EMA indicator does not really confirm much, right? It is 100% possible for there to be a pullback and then for it to pull back right back to its previous support, and that's why it's so important to wait for more of a general confirmation or an ongoing uptrend. And it was great that everyone was able to make money on Friday, but that is why I reminded everyone that, okay, USLV was showing signs of a very aggressive downtrend, so it's not the worst idea to consider the idea of covering profits and then buying back in if it continues to uptrend. So as of right now with USLV and how it's trending, it does look like it's still selling off. Intraday, let's check this out. Yeah, still showing signs of a descending pattern. It's trading in between the middle and bottom VWAP. So as of right now, not much growth in my eyes do I see going on here. Let's check this out. One thing that I'll do is I'll set my alerts if it can break back above the EMA indicator, but as of right now, it's not showing much of that. And also, I'm going to set my alert if it can end up making higher highs. So just something that we'll have to keep, on watch. Okay, Google, volume 1. Okay, Google, play today's top 50. Sorry if I set off any of your Google Homes. All right, let's check this out. I want to see if we can. All right. I'm going to get a little break above $7. Let's see if we can do this. All right. All right, sounds good. I'll try to speak up a little bit, Jesse. Thank you again. All right, made a few bucks on drip this morning, and now I am done day trading for the day. I like it. Let's Focus on those short-term swing trades. Let's see what you guys can call out. Based on everything that's been called out, I don't see a lot of potential on a lot of the call-outs. That's just my opinion. But all right, this one was brought to my attention by one of our traders, NBR. We can see that overall I had a general support right around like 650, right? This is normally where it bounces at. More of a general resistance right around $8 to 850. So there's a pretty, I'll just draw the lines just so we could have a, there we go. And I'll draw a slight resistance. There we go. All right, sweet. So about 21% potential for profit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set my alert right now. This thing is still selling off, so it's not something that I find very attractive. But if we can get a nice little push up, then definitely. Again, WTI, is it breaking pattern by selling off? No, definitely not. It's pulling back to the SMA indicator. It's something that it's done multiple times before. Sometimes it even trades below the SMA indicator, and then it comes right back up. So we just have to give it a little bit more time and see how this ends up performing. As we can see, yeah, still showing signs of a sell-off, and that's why I have not added more to my position. I'm going to wait for a little bit more of a break above the EMA to see if I can get in for a better buy. Because if I buy in right now, this isn't the lowest point that it's ever hit, right? So with that understanding, like, it could sell off all the way down to like 660. And if I buy in right now to try to buy the dip, it's not going to make sense because it's continuing to bleed. So one thing that makes a little bit more sense to me is instead of trying to buy at the lowest price point, I can try to buy when it starts to reverse back up and starts to indicate signs of an uptrend pattern, so I could sell, at a certain price point that makes the most sense. So, all right. Everything's right so far. Chilling here and being patient. I like that, Matt. Yeah, definitely trying to keep it very conservative today. All right. Yeah. Happy born day. I like that. All right, Ben. Talking about ticker symbol SN. Okay. So ticker symbol SN, can you see the resistance that it's had based on previous patterns right around $4.50? So it is showing signs of this almost like ascending uptrend pattern for a support. But one thing that I do want you to understand is, the opportunity cost, right? It's not in the good deal territory. You would be investing in this due to the uptrend pattern that it has to offer. And who knows if it's even going to hit highs of 450. I mean, this might be its peak itself at around 436. Yeah, I mean, I would see if it ends up actually bouncing. I mean, it does offer pretty decent margin of profit. But yeah, as of right now, it's not showing much potential. I mean, it's because what I see that's going on is if we get it a little bit closer, do you see when it pushed up and then sold off and it tried to bounce and ended up not hitting the same highs, right? And then sold off again. I see this kind of same thing happening. Like, it's already pushed up, now it's just selling off. So I'd be very careful for your entry. I would just make sure that you're getting it on the bounce and not as it's falling and not as it's bleeding. Hope that makes sense. You guys at support, yeah, I definitely do see that with the potential estimate indicator acting as a support, and also the overall $62 price point based on previous patterns. Looking at /NG, I think we could also make that assumption that, okay, it's at that support area territory, but just because it's at a support area doesn't always mean it's a good buy. I think we could all have made that mistake where we try to predict where it's going to bounce and then ends up not bouncing, right? So let's make sure that we understand that and that we end up not taking a position too early and end up, it's still bleeding, right? Because there's no question that it can still continue to bleed. So let's just make sure that we understand that. Yeah, a lot of things are selling off. Like, out of everything on my watch list, yeah, there's only one green one, and that's an inverse ETF. Here, I'll make there to be 2 green ones. JDST, just because I know JNUG is down. Yeah, and it's not even up very much. LABU. Okay, so LABU again selling off. I wouldn't necessarily identify this to be the best deal. This makes sense on why LABD, it can be showing signs of a potential reversal, but also LABU, what I do see here, as many of you guys probably see it as well, is this like sell-off pattern that it has, and then it recovers pretty aggressively, right? So I'd like to see how kind of this plays out, but again, it's definitely selling off, so let's not try to force that entry. Nope, still selling off, no confirmation. Again, we can set our alerts for the break above 110 for this bounce, and then for this ongoing uptrend. I want this EMA line to start pointing up, and for this thing to start breaking resistance levels and not support levels, right? We need to start seeing this to start actively trending up. Same thing here, still selling off, no signs of an uptrend pattern. We can set our alerts, but as of right now, the pattern is not relevant. I definitely do, agree that this one does show potential, but as of right now, not, especially with the market being so red, let's not force any entries. Yeah. So guys, a lot of you guys are saying that, what's it called? That it's very red today. It does, yes, it is very red with a lot of tickers that, are in the red. That does not mean that we can't either make any money today or that we can't prepare because of how much stocks have sold off for a really solid trade this week. Because of how much it's selling off, that's all margin that it could potentially make up. So let's make sure that during this time, if you're not going to trade, that you dedicate time to prepare what stock that sold off today or what stock that you potentially see value in that you're going to be able to capitalize on, right? So again, let's focus less on, oh my God, it's red. Who cares if it's red? What are we going to do to stay green this week? Again, plan, right? What's good, Andrew? Thank you again for tuning in. Are you going to be in Los Angeles next week? I'm not too sure. Let's follow up, Muhammad. I think I might visit very briefly, but I'm not too sure. Ongoing downtrend. This is our ticker symbol ERY, right? SMA acting as a resistance, so maybe we could wait for a breakout pattern above that. But overall, the direction of this is showing like it's a pretty strong downtrend. It does show potential for recovery, but again, no confirmation just yet, so I wouldn't force the entry on this. I'm green with drip. Nice. And again, we have all these inverse ETFs. Like one has to be green, right? So let's not get carried away of like, oh my God, the market's red. Who cares if the market's red? We know how to stay green, right? With how it is that we trade. Okay. I would be careful with this one as of right now with drip, just because it's approaching this resistance at the EMA indicator. So looking at it a little bit closer, it definitely does look a little bit more overextended. Up to you guys on when it is that you guys want to cover profits. Just make sure that you either follow with a stop loss or something like that, right? Yeah, it's still been showing signs of a descending pattern, so it makes sense maybe around 660 to a little bit below that to be somewhat of a resistance. All right, so CGC actively trending up even intraday. Still showing signs like it's trying to push up right now, but I think that it still can get rejected by this EMA indicator. It does a pretty good job getting rejected by that, and then it takes a while for it to consolidate and then push right back up. So because of that, I would give it a little bit more time for it to kind of like really identify the direction of where it's going to be going. That's solid. Okay, so if you're up already 1K with ERY, that's great, but it doesn't take away that it's up 4.23%, right? So it's great that you're up, but also understand that last time that it pushed up and it touched the SMA indicator, it's gotten rejected, and it's a descending pattern. So although you're up, for those that are potentially trying to get in right now, understanding that the resistance might be at 36.39 or 36.40, it wouldn't make sense for them to try to get in right now to try to capitalize on that 2 to 3% margin when there's like, you know, a 5 to 7% margin of a sell-off. So the risk ratios aren't there. So I agree that, okay, if you're up, and it's definitely been pushing up intraday, but the overall pattern is a descending pattern. So let's not forget about that. So it's like when the market opened, right? When the market opened and WTI was at, you know, 715, and I was up like $200, $300. I wouldn't call that to be the best buy for everyone, because I bought in during a time that, you know, on Friday, which then it was going to allow me to sell today for a profit. The margin of profit wasn't that much greater, or it wasn't that much, so therefore it wouldn't be the best call out. I would have to wait for a sell-off, kind of like what's going on right now, and then now the opportunity is there again, right? And as you guys can see, it's still definitely selling off. RDFN, I remember about that one. Okay, RDFN definitely showing signs to be at that support at around $21. It's staying green today, up about 2.75%. Looking at the characteristic of, let's actually extend this one out. Okay, so we can see that pushes up, it sells off, pushes up, sells off. It really does validate this EMA indicator, right? I like it. So around this general area of around 22, right? And overall resistance right around 24. So as of right now, the potential profit that it has to offer is about 9%. So definitely not bad. I'm going to add this to my active uptrend watch list. Thank you again for the amazing reminder. And this is by our guy, Charlie. Thank you again for everything it is that you do. Again, 9%. You know, that's huge. Right now, overall direction, yes, Tesla is up intraday, but also understanding that it's actively trending down. Again, understand the direction of the company of where it's trading. Even if you're looking at day trading it, look at the big picture. You need to understand the direction to make sure that you don't force a hold when it's still trending down, and then you end up having to bag hold something because it continues to descend. So let's make sure that we note that, right? Pushing up, selling off, overall support would be closer around this area right here. Okay, so yeah, overall SMA indicator does look like it might be acting as a support. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to send an alert for when it breaks above 730, 830. And I'm going to add this under my pending reversal watch list. All right, 1 to 1 minute. It has pretty low volume, so that's something that we'll have to note out and watch out for. And it's a pharmaceutical company. I'm not a huge fan of those. Again, that's not how we call out stocks. How do you make the reminder so it's not a line? What? Oh, like, what do you mean so it's not a line? Like an alert, but for it to not be that line? Again, I have a video in the course showing up how to set up your TD Ameritrade for those that are asking. And you go to settings, you go to, you know, show arrows only and not the show alerts. Correct, Ryan. It's within a 5 business day period. So depending on when it is that you sold, your brokerage should tell you. TD Ameritrade tells you. You just have to check the number of trades that you have left. It should tell you under like account info, and then, you know, what's it called? Robinhood tells you as well, or depending on what broker you're using. So took no positions this morning. What's better than being green? Not being red. I like that, Austin. I like it. Yeah. All right. I'm swinging drip. If I sell the highs. Again, it's the buying and selling, or the selling and buying, all within the same date. So if you sell it another day, then it does not count as a day trade. Direct message me if you can. One. Okay, so ADBE, so this is Adobe Systems, showing signs of a potential good buy territory. I actually really like this one. I'm going to add this under my opinion reversals, and the reason why I like it is because it's an ongoing uptrend. It's approaching this SMA indicator that it normally bounces at. Again, here, 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 and potentially here, right? This is what it's all about. Let's set up the plan. Okay, this is good buy territory, so you could draw a support, right around the 240 price point. And then overall resistance, if we want to be conservative, we could draw the resistance right around 250, right? So even with this margin alone, if it starts to pick up and starts to not make lower lows anymore and starts to make higher highs, we'll set that alert right here. And overall resistance is, potential for profit is about 3.29%. Again, not huge, but it's still margin, right? And it makes sense on why it's a good buy. We could follow up with the MACD indicator on when it starts coming back in. The RSI is right where it's supposed to be. I really like this call out because it makes a lot of sense. Now we just have to wait for the confirmation for that ongoing uptrend. We'll also set our alerts if it continues to sell off, then we want to make sure that we can stay reminded. I like it. And this is by Divot. Thank you again for dedicating time to, sharing this one with us. That is hilarious, Craig. I know, but trust me. Once we wait and we're patient for a solid entry, there's a lot of stocks that are in their good buy territories. We just now need to wait for the confirmation, right? Let's, a lot of them. So as of right now, okay, I'm done taking callouts. No more callouts. So I appreciate, you guys calling a number of things out. So as of right now, yeah, definitely not showing any signs of an uptrend. So again, no more callouts, please. DRN, not a good buy territory. It's definitely much more on the overbought side, and it is expected to be a pullback. What do you want me to, or Cheech, what would you like me to speak? I already talked about, we just needed to, it's at good buy territory. I just needed to start making higher highs. That's all I'm waiting for. What is it about what I just said that doesn't make a lot of sense? So WTI very near 660 support now. Yes, I agree. So let's make this list. I want you guys to make this list with me. All right, so we're going to talk about all these stocks that are at good buy territories, and we're going to end it there. So it doesn't mean that all of these are good buys. It just means ones that we're waiting for overall reversals. So all right. So NBR not really showing any signs of an uptrend as of right now. So no, not too much of that. USLV, this is under the reversal watch list. DGAS looks a little bit overextended. WTI, right, getting near to that support. UGAS near that support. Gush is definitely at support as well, and it's showing signs of this pending reversal. And this could be making, I would still only day trade Gush and Drip right now. That's just my 2 cents. But yeah, then we have RDFN. This thing's selling off today. Sounds good. So CPE. ADBE. Way overextended. I still think that this thing is going to sell off a little bit more, so I'm not going to add it to my list. This one does have a pending reversal, but as of right now, again, no alerts set off. Still selling off. Still selling off. That one's not really a, I'll remember that one. All right. Why do these not have alerts? All right, there we go. Pending reversal there. Just on the BRS. All right. Wow, this is not pending anymore. Still selling off. Still selling off. I don't even know why that's here. Okay. I have not. I know that that's for individuals that trade outside of the U.S. or that don't want to be under the PDT rule. But yeah. All right. So first of all, I know there was like two or three comments of people saying like, "Oh man, Ricky, what's wrong? Why are you being like so stern this morning?" It's not even about that. It's like when I see people, and again, this is like I don't know how you guys feel about this, but when I see a larger number of individuals comment that, "Oh my God, the day is so red. Oh my God, like what's going on?" Blah blah blah, like starting to freak out. That's when I'm just like, okay, it's not going to be very beneficial for me just to be nice and just be like, guys, no, it's okay, it's fine. It's like that's where I need to kind of like make sure that I set the tone on forget about all the BS that is being talked about, or kind of just like what is made just aware to everyone. And it's like, all right, getting back to the basics. Like, yes, it is a red day, but that only means that there's that much more opportunity to make more money within this week if it recovers. And that's what I wanted to focus on. I apologize that the way that I said certain things might have offended some of you. But again, I just want to make sure that if I see any type of like lack of effort from our members, it is my job, right? That is why you guys invested in me to, slap you back into place, to make sure that I remind you that, no, during these times, it's not time to freak out. It's not time to force a trade. It's not time to get into a position that you don't understand, but it's to, actually invest more time to find and identify what stock has the most potential for profit to recover. And that's why, I'm not here just to, bring everyone else down. I wasn't doing it in a way that to subjugate others. I was doing it in a way to, just instill more motivation to find a pick this week or within the next couple of weeks that is aggressively selling off that can make you huge margins. And that's why we did this. So for those that are asking what the weekly watch list is, please do not trade any of these. Please, please, please do not trade any of these. This does not mean that any of these are good picks. It just means ones that are in good buy territories. Majority of them all have to wait for the confirmation. This is just for those that are struggling to find something that might offer potential this week. You could do breakdowns on each one of these stocks. I still only want you to pick one or two stocks, just one or two stocks for the entire week, if that's not too much to ask. This is the list. So USLV, WTI, UGAZ, Gush, RDFN, CPE, and then ADBE. Again, let's wait for that confirmation of the uptrend. Right now, because it sold off so aggressively, check this out. Because it sold off so aggressively, this is where patience comes in. If we can get a nice little push up and it ends up recovering, which based on previous patterns, it usually does, right? It doesn't mean that it has to, but just as a day trade, if we get that confirmation, right, even from this to the middle VWAP, 2.61%. How many of you guys have a 3% margin or goal every single week? Now, if it recovers to $7, 4.14%. If it covers to, $7.10, 5.54%, right? The margins are definitely there. Let's be patient. Let's wait for the confirmation, and let's make sure we get in when it's actively trending up. Very simple, right? All right. I think I need to read some of your guys' comments. So, I mean, Ryan, we've talked about this. It's something that I like to wait for is for the bounce on the EMA line. And how do you know when something is actively trending up? When it's not making lower lows anymore. That's the biggest sign of a potential reversal, is when it finishes making lower lows and it actually starts to make higher highs, right? It's making lower lows, it consolidates, right? It kind of just has that horizontal pattern, and then it starts making higher highs. That's the point that I see the time to, for the confirmation. Really appreciate that, Alex. Thank you again. I like that. What's going on, Shawnee? Divot, I like that. Thank you again for the amazing call out today. Craig. Oh, yeah, you crack me up. If Ricky words are harmful, then you have bigger problems. I like that. Definitely. All right. Yes or WTI, which... Yeah, well, that's a judgment that you're going to have to make, Zane. Yeah, again, that's not my top priority right now, Muhammad. So we'll follow with that later throughout the day. What got you into trading? I've shared that on YouTube with my story. You guys can check that out on YouTube if you want to hear a little bit more on how I got started. Yeah, that's something that I'll talk about later. Really appreciate that, Kevin. Thank you. Yep, it definitely happens to a lot of us, Alexandra. Yep, definitely got rejected by the email line. No confirmation just yet. All right. But guys, yeah, looks like we're just getting a lot of the same questions back and forth. Let's check this out. Yep, no confirmation there. Yeah, looks like you guys is trying to push above the SMA indicator intraday. All right, there we go. NBR trying to recover now. All right, not a huge margin, but it definitely offers some margin. Let's see if it continues to do an uptrend. No signs of an uptrend. Very overextended, not a good deal. So yes, it could bounce and continue to uptrend, but it's not a good deal. So it just wouldn't make much sense to me. Yeah. So with JDST, potential bounce at around the SMA indicator, trying to push above the EMA indicator. Definitely just make sure that you look at the overall direction for /GC and see how that's trading. I still use the concept of the whole point of introducing you to the golden rule or the golden ratio is to introduce you to the concept of making sure you invest, just like I did that breakdown right now on SFIX. Due to the golden rule and the idea of that, I know that the potential for profit is so much less than the potential for loss. So because of that concept, I won't invest in it. I know when I introduced it in the course, it's a little bit more basic. It's like a 5-to-1 ratio. That's not something that I follow every single time, right? But the overall concept of making sure that I'm getting a good deal and that the potential for profit usually always exceeds the potential for loss, that is a core focus to a majority of my trades. Cans or Chipotle today? I had Chipotle yesterday, so probably going to have something else for breakfast today. But yeah, guys, I am done. Yeah. So I really do appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, there wasn't a lot to go off of. when it came down to this morning live stream, when it comes down to actively trading. But that doesn't mean that we're not able to prepare for one of the best weeks ever, right? So let's make sure that you guys are exposed to all these different stocks that we all saw valued. This is just a small number of them, right? Do your technical analysis, set up a plan for each one of them, and then calculate which one you think will have which one has a higher success rate of continuing to uptrend, which one offers the highest potential for profit, right? And just let it make sense, right? So we got NBR now showing signs of an uptrend, and it might be the first of many. So let's keep it simple. Let's focus on what's actively trending up, and all those that are selling off, right? For all those stocks that are selling off very aggressively today, let's just see if we can identify for them to find a potential support for them to start reversing back up. So let's keep it simple. If you guys have any questions, feel free to direct message me within the Learn Plan Profit chat. Please, 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 before you start bombarding the Learn Plan Profit group chat with all these questions, if it's not too much to ask, please make sure that you complete the entire course before asking so many questions, because a majority of those are probably covered in the course itself. You have both, Justin and I that you're able to reach out to if you have any questions, and then you also have the experienced traders within the LPP group chat. Also, make sure that for all those that are, new to the chat and want access to your affiliate link, there's a video in the announcement section. You have to scroll up a little bit, and it shows you how to access your affiliate link. If after the end of the video, if it shows you how to do it, if you still cannot access your affiliate link, please direct message Justin, right? You can find him in the announcement section. Direct message him and ask him for your affiliate link with the email that you used to enroll in the course. Let's keep it simple. Again, if you guys have any questions, you guys can simply reach out to us. And please, please, please keep your questions under 150 characters if that's not too much to ask. I had someone send me paragraphs of a direct message, and when I receive about 300 to 500 in a day, it's not even in a day, it's like within a 4 to 8 hour span. It's just not very efficient for either one of us. Just get straight to the point of whatever it is that you want to say, and I would be more than happy to assist you. So let's do it. So thank you guys again for everything else that you guys do. Continue killing it, continue working hard, continue following your dreams, let your passion be what drives you and your success. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on the green note. Take it easy, team.